When your toddler is mid-meltdown, your instinct is to talk them through it. You explain, you reason, you repeat yourself louder, and when none of that lands, you say it again a different way. Here's what's easy to miss. All of that talking is actually feeding the meltdown, not ending it. The real fix for calming your child down has almost nothing to do with what you say. It's about saying far less than you think. That doesn't mean ignoring them or walking off while they're on the floor screaming. You still need to respond, just in a completely different way than talking. I'll show you exactly what that looks like in a moment. First, let's look at why words alone aren't reaching your child right now. Here's what's actually happening inside your child during a tantrum. Their amygdala, the brain's alarm system, has picked up on a threat and hit the panic button. That threat almost never needs to be dangerous in any real sense. For a toddler, it might be getting handed the wrong colored cup, being told it's time to leave the park, or not being able to get their own shoes on. To an adult, none of that registers as a big deal. But to a brain that's still developing, that wave of sadness, frustration, or anger can feel just as intense as genuine danger. The amygdala doesn't yet know the difference between "I'm in danger" and "this isn't what I wanted." It just senses that something feels wrong and sounds the alarm. Once that alarm goes off, the brain drops straight into survival mode, triggering the built-in fight, flight, or freeze response. And this is where it gets important. Once your child is in that survival state, the reasoning part of their brain, the prefrontal cortex, essentially shuts down for the moment. That's the exact region responsible for processing language and logic. So their capacity to actually take in what you're telling them collapses almost entirely. Adults experience this too. Think back to a moment you were genuinely furious, and someone tried to calmly reason with you in that moment. How much of what they said actually stuck? Probably barely any of it. It went in one ear and straight out the other. That's precisely what's happening when you try to explain why the blue cup is perfectly fine, or coach them to use gentle words instead of screaming. In that moment, their brain isn't refusing to listen. It genuinely cannot process what you're saying. But there's another layer to this. During a meltdown, picture what your child is actually seeing from down on the floor. You're probably towering over them, gesturing as you try to explain, your face cycling through frustration, worry, maybe even a hint of anger as you talk them through it. You're not doing anything wrong. Every caring parent does exactly this. But when a child's brain is already locked in survival mode, all that motion and intensity above them can register as genuinely frightening. Instead of feeling comforted, their alarmed brain may interpret it as more evidence that something is wrong. So it's not just that your words aren't landing. Your body language might be actively signaling danger, keeping their nervous system stuck in panic. And that's exactly how a tantrum that could have lasted 5 minutes stretches into a 30-minute ordeal that leaves everyone in the house completely drained. During a meltdown, your child doesn't need to be talked out of their feelings. What they need is to feel safe, because their thinking brain only comes back online once that safety registers. Only then can they hear and process what you're saying. So how do you communicate safety without words? Through your actions and your calm presence. Let me show you exactly what that looked like recently with my own daughter. Just the other day, my youngest, who's 2.5, was playing dollhouse with her older sister when she suddenly dropped to the floor screaming because she desperately wanted the little cot her sister happened to be holding. I could have rushed straight over and said something like, concerned, "I know you're upset because you want the cot," and then launched into a whole explanation of why she had to wait her turn and share nicely. But based on everything you just learned, all of that talking, plus my animated, worried face hovering over her, would likely have registered as even more danger to her already alarmed brain, which usually just means more screaming and a longer meltdown, not a shorter one. So instead, I just picked her up, carried her to her room, and set her down on the floor. She was still kicking, screaming, and trying to squirm away from me. At one point, literally pressing herself against the wall to put as much distance between us as she could. She was telling me, as clearly as a 2-year-old can, that my presence wasn't helping in that moment. Being able to see me was actually making things worse. So I said just 2 words, whispering, "I'm here." Then I shifted slightly out of her direct line of sight, while staying in the room with her, and I waited. I didn't try to talk her down, lecture her, or reason with her. I didn't say, "Use your words," or "calm down," because honestly, those phrases almost never help in a moment like this. Quick aside, phrases like use your words and calm down are actually 2 of 8 really common things parents say that I'd recommend avoiding whenever you can, simply because they don't land the way you'd hope. And thankfully, there are much better alternatives to reach for instead. If you want the full list of those 8 phrases, along with exactly what to say instead, grab the free guide linked in the description. It's called 8 Phrases to Rethink and What to Say Instead. Okay, back to my daughter. Once I noticed she was starting to settle, her crying softening, no more rolling around on the floor, which felt like forever, but was really only about a minute, I moved back into her line of sight. But I still didn't say a word. I just let my calm presence carry the message instead. Through my steady body language, her survival brain was picking up the signal that her big emotions weren't dangerous, that she was safe, and that everything was going to be fine. My steadiness was essentially telling her nervous system, there's no danger here. About 30 seconds later, she looked up at me, and I simply asked, softly, "Do you want to cuddle?" She nodded, then climbed straight into my lap. I stayed quiet again, just holding her while she settled the rest of the way down. Once her breathing slowed, her body relaxed, and she started making eye contact with me again. I knew her thinking brain had come back online and was finally ready to process language. That was the moment, and only that moment, when I could actually talk to her about what had happened and how we could solve it together. Now you're probably thinking, that's fine at home, but what about when my kid melts down completely in Target because I won't buy dinosaur toy number 15? Public meltdowns are a whole different level of difficult. Size. There's really nothing like having your parenting judged by strangers while your toddler falls apart over a toy they supposedly cannot survive without. But here's the thing. Your child's brain works exactly the same whether you're at home or standing in aisle 7. Once they're in survival mode, they genuinely cannot process anything you're saying to them, no matter where you are. So what do you actually do with a screaming child in public? You've basically got 2 options, depending on how much time you have and how comfortable you feel. If time allows and you're up for it, try moving your child somewhere quieter, an empty aisle, a corner near the exit, anywhere with less stimulation. But if relocating isn't possible, that's completely fine too. You can just build a small bubble of calm exactly where you're standing. Get down to their eye level instead of looming over them. Keep your movements small and your expression as relaxed as you can manage, even though that's genuinely hard when strangers are watching. Then, just like at home, say something simple like, softly, "I'm here," and focus entirely on being that steady, calm presence beside them. Wait for the signs that their thinking brain is coming back. Softer crying, stillness, eye contact, before you attempt to talk anything through. Now, if you're genuinely short on time, maybe you're already running late for an appointment, or you need to grab your other child from school before the doors close, it's completely fine to switch into exit strategy mode instead. Acknowledge what they're feeling, then offer a simple choice about how you'll leave together. Something like, calmly, "I know you're upset that you can't get the toy right now. We do need to go. Do you want to hold my hand, or should I carry you?" I know that technically contradicts the whole "don't talk" advice, but offering one small choice in that moment can sometimes stop things from escalating further. And honestly, it gives you a sense of control when everything else feels chaotic. If they don't pick either option, and in full meltdown mode, they probably won't. Just scoop them up and go. Sometimes simply getting through the moment is the win, and that's genuinely okay. Size. Unfortunately, tantrums are just one of the challenges that come with this age. Another one you're almost guaranteed to run into is whining. And just like tantrums, this is completely normal, developmentally expected behavior. But how you respond to it has a real impact on how often it shows up and how intense it gets. If you want to make sure your response is actually reducing how frequently your child whines, rather than accidentally reinforcing it, make sure you watch the next video. I'll walk you through exactly what to do the moment whining starts, and how to help your child ask for what they need in a more positive, direct way, without all the complaining.